Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kobe and this is Kaetech Digital. Now in our last video we talked about how to create this amazing church website over here, and we started creating everything. We created the header, the footer, and everything that needs this website to work. Now we also created the homepage and every other thing about the homepage. Now in this particular video, what we are going to do is to start creating the post types in ACF, and then also we will start creating all the other templates that makes these post types work. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's get into it. Now if you are new over here, we are creating a church website, and this particular church website is basically a modern church website using Elementor and Elementor Pro and all the great themes that we can be able to use. We are using the Kadence theme, which is a very great theme, and WordPress as well. So let's jump into it. Now we're going to go back to the back end of the website, and we are going to we've already installed the ACF plugin over here. So what we are going to do is we're going to create what we call a post type. Okay, so we're going to create two post types. Now if you see the main church over here, we have the sermon, and then we also have event over here. Okay, now that is these two post types that we are going to create. So we come over to the dashboard over here, and then we're going to hover on ACF over here, and then we click on post types. So we're going to create two different post types. We're going to create one which is the sermons, and then two which is the event post types. So we click over here to create the sermon post type. So what we're going to do is we're going to say sermons. Okay, that is for plural. Okay, so it means that if it is more, it is called sermons. Now if it is less, we're going to say just sermon, and then the post type key, if I click outside, is going to fill in for me over here. Okay, now taxonomy, we can be able to select the category taxonomy over here. So we're going to use the category taxonomy over here. So it means that when we select this one, which is the existing taxonomy to classify items of the post type. So if you look at post over here, we have categories over here. These are all taxonomies. So category and tags, these are all taxonomies. Okay, so we want to classify these post types or this post item into category or into groups. Okay, and that is what we selected over here. So it wanted to show public. You can choose it to show hierarchical if you want, just like the way pages and other stuff does, but I'm going to just leave it alone. And then I'm going to show advanced configuration over here, and then make sure that you select some of these things, especially post format and then post attributes. I'm going to select them, and then yeah, I think that's all. Check labels and see if everything is filled in over here. Visibility also, check it and see what you want. So with this one, this is sermon, so I'm going to choose something which looks like maybe a book or something. So I'm going to say maybe book, and I'm going to use this particular one over here, so like a Bible or something. Okay, and basically that is it. So go into the URL over here, and what I want you to do is to just toggle this one on. Okay, toggle it on, and then it says what has an archive, blah blah blah, and then choose this one as what, as sermons. Okay, so we're going to choose this one as sermons, so we're going to choose the Slack. That is where it will go if you create an archive for it. An archive is just like a place where all sermons are put together. Okay, so that is basically it. So the URL is going to be sermons. Now the reason why I'm using this URL is because I want it to match the same URL as this one, which is the sermons over here. Okay, we've already created the page, so we just need something to link them together. That is all. And then I think that is all over here. So permissions, make sure that this one is toggled on, and then that is all. So we're gonna click on save changes over here, and our post type is created. Okay, now we've created the sermons post type. We need to create fields for this particular post type. So if you see, this is the sermon over here. We have all sermons, we have add new sermon, we have what categories over here. Okay, but we want to create fields for it. So the fields are, when you want to add a new sermon, those fields that will come for you to fill the meta boxes and all those things. We want to create those fields for it. So we want to go over here and then click on add fields. So we're going to click over here, and then as you can see, you can name it anyhow you want, but I'm going to just leave this one as sermon fields over here. And then we're going to create some fields over here. So I have some list over here that I want to look on. The first field I'm going to create is sermon summary. Okay, so sermon summary is going to be a text area over here, and I'm going to name it sermon summary. I'll click outside, and basically that is all. Now I'll just toggle this one to close the the details over here, and I'll click on this one which says add field, and then the second field I'll create is the speaker or the pastor. Okay, so this one is going to be a text field, and the label is going to be speaker stroke pastor over here. And then I'll leave it as it is over here. So you can check on this ones if you want to, if it is required. You can put on the required the presentation over here also, and then a conditional logic. So make sure that anything that's advanced thing that you want to do it over here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add another field also over here, and that field is going to be the sermon date. Okay, so this is a date field, so I'm going to select search for date. So just search for date or date picker over here, and then I'll put in over here which says sermon date. Click outside over here, and it's going to fill in. So you can check on you can check how you want the date to also populate in the front end or display in the front end. Okay, you can check all of them out, how you want it to display. So the format display when editing is this one, so I want it to be this. And the format display also when showing at the front end in template is also going to be this one. So let's look at how this one works. So I'm going to go ahead and then click on sermons over here. I want to see how the sermons are displayed. So even over here, the date did not even come over here. So I didn't show any date over here, right? I just showed the the duration and all those things. I did not show any date, so I'm not really worried about how the date is going to display. So I'll use this particular one over here. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and then add another field also. So let me just hide all these ones and then click on add another field also over here, and I'm going to go ahead and then copy sermon duration. So this one is also going to be a text field over here, and I'm going to say sermon duration, and that is it. I'll hide this one also over here, add another field, and this field is going to be featured Bible verse. Okay, so this is also going to be a text field, and then I'm going to just add this one over here, and then I'll close this one. I'll come over here and then also add the video URL field. So I'll copy this one, also add another field, and then come over here and search for URL. So you can search for the URL that you want. Okay, so I'm going to use this URL over here, and I'll say video URL. So if you have any video URL, you can put it over there, and that is it. I'll come to the next one, which is audio file also over here. So of course you can set an audio file and then also a PDF or notes file. So over here I'm going to just say maybe file, I'm going to choose a file over here. Okay, and then I'll just say audio file. Okay, and that is it. I'll click outside, and basically that is how it's going to show over here for us. So the return value, you can choose anything that you want. So the file array, the file URL, or the file ID. So the file array is correct, and then the library, if you want all or what is uploaded to the post, you can choose it. So I'm going to leave it as it is. Now click on add another one again, and that one is going to be the sermons notes or PDF. So I'll copy this one, click over here, and then over here also I'm just going to search for file over here, and then I'll hit and I'll paste it over here, and then click outside, and just like we did for the file, this is how this one is also going to be like. So these are the fields that we have created over here. Okay, these are the fields that we have created. Now you can come to the presentations and all those things. Make sure that everything is correctly set, the group settings and all those things. So make sure that everything is displayed well. So display title, you can put the title over here if you want. Okay, anything that you want to put, the description and all those things. This is shown on the edit screen of the field group meta box to use instead of the field group title. So you know, anything that you want to show over here, you can show it, you can type it over here, and then if everything is okay, just click on save changes over here. All right, so now we have you know, created the field group for the sermons. Okay, so if you click over here and then we click on add new sermon, which I'm going to open in a new tab, you see these are all the field groups that we have created. Okay, these are all the field group that we have created, and that is what the meta box is. If I close this one, now I'm going to have the title, the the description, and then the meta box is showing down below over here. Okay, so now let's look at how we can be able to add sermons over here. So this is the title of the sermon, this is the title of the sermon. So I'm going to just copy this one. I'll copy this one, come over here, put the title over here, and with this one it says what the whole thing. Okay, that is the sermon outline over here. So I'm just going to copy this one. I'll copy this one, come over here, and then paste it over here. Okay, so that is what the sermon outline. Now when you come over here, you can get featured image over here. So I'm going to click over here and then just add any featured image over here. So of course you can choose any featured image that you want. So let's say I want to choose this man over here. I'll just choose this man over here, and then if I come over here, there are categories over here. I can be able to add a category. Okay, so I can be able to add a category, and then what is the category over here? I want to see the category. It says what? Faith and spiritual growth. So I'll come over here and put in faith and spiritual growth over here, and then that is all. I'm going to add the category, and I have a category which says faith and spiritual growth. Now I'll click on the meta box over here and then fill in everything over here. So the summary is not showing over here, but if you go if you click and go into the sermons, you see that this is the summary that we wanted to show. So I'll copy this one and come over here and paste it over here. Okay, now the speaker, you can put the speaker over there. So who is the speaker? It says Reverend Daniel Mensah, right? So I'm going to copy over here and put it over here. The sermon date, you can pick a date that the sermon was shared. So I'm going to just pick January, let's say 25th January, and then the sermon duration, I would say maybe 30 minutes. And then featured Bible verse, you can put any featured Bible verse over here. So I'm going to say maybe Jeremiah 29, 29 verse 11. Okay, and then video URL, you can put a video URL over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and then go click inside it, and I'll just copy this video URL over here. So copy this one. So then let's look the look 1520. Okay, so over here I'll put in the video URL over here, and then I'll say Luke 15 verse 20, right? And then audio file, you can add an audio file. If you have an audio file over here, you can add it. If you have a PDF note also, you can be able to add it also over here. So basically we are done over here, and then we can go ahead and click on publish. So now we have one sermon published that we can be able to use, and that is how the sermon really works. Now if I click on to view the sermon, this is how it's going to give me. It won't give me that kind of all the fields that is shown over here. No, because we have to create this particular template for it to display everything that we have created over here. Okay, so we have to create a template to display it, and we will come over there. But let's go quickly and then create the other post type, which is the event, and then we can be able to go ahead and start creating all the templates and then the loop items that we will have to use on the website. So I'm going to go back over here to ACF over here, and I'm going to go to post types also over here. And we have one post type already, which is the sermon. Now let's go ahead and click on add new over here to add the event post type. So I'm going to add event over here. I'll click outside. So let me just say event, click outside, movie, I say movie, singular, event is going to be event, just event without an S. And the post type key is already filled in because of the event. Now select taxonomy. We're going to use category just like we did for the last time, and then we show advanced configurations over here, and then make sure that you select this once, post attribute, post format over here, and I think that is all. Go to labels over here, check the labels, go to visibility over here, and then check the visibility. And this time around, event, let's see what we can use for event. So let's search for location. Okay, so we can use this one for all events, okay, if you want, or we can use any other thing for event. Okay, so basically just look at something that you feel is comfortable for your event, and then you can use. So I'm going to use date for or calendar for events. So I'm going to choose this calendar over here, and yeah, so okay, so this one is quite okay. The URLs over here, I'll say archive over here. I'll toggle archive, and then over here I'll just use the event a slag over here, and permissions, check and see if this one is toggled on, and if everything is all right, click on save changes over here. So now that our events are created, you can see them over here. Okay, so as you can see, we have events, sermon, and then we have events. Now we need to create the fields just like we created for sermons over here. So I'm going to click on add fields. Okay, so add fields. So the first field that we want to add is the event start date. Okay, so we have event start date. So we're going to choose a date picker. So we click on date picker, and then this one is going to be event start date. Okay, so basically we have the display format over here, and let's look at how this event display. Okay, so let's go to event and let's see how the dates display. Okay, so the date is displayed just like this one. So we're gonna come over here and choose this particular one over here. All right, so now that we are done, we can just go ahead and then toggle this one and then hide all details, and we click on this one again, and that one also we're going to pick date again. So date over here, and this one is going to be event end date. Okay, so event end date. Okay, and then we click outside over here, and this is how it's going to also be. So the end date, we're going to choose this one again, and I think that is all. So let's hide all the details over here, and then let's go to the next one, which is what? Event summary. So event summary, we're going to click on this one. This time around, we're going to use a text area over here, and then we say event summary. Okay, so basically that is it. Go to validation, go to presentation, check on the logic and all those things, and if everything is okay, you hide the details and you click on this one, which will also give you the event time, right? Event time. So we're going to come over here and then click on what? Time. So time picker over here, and then this one is going to be event time. Okay, we click outside over here, and how do you want the time to to show over here? You can just check it and then do it the same way. All right, so if it is required, check validation and all those kind of conditional logic and all those things, and we are good to go. So the next one, what again do we have? Event location. So we're gonna go over here and click over here, and then also with this one, what do? We search for location, maybe map. Okay, we have Google Map over here, or first of all, let's look for just a text field. Okay, so we want a text field over here for event location. Okay, and then we are good to go. This is just going to be a text field, and then the next one is the map. Okay, so the map is Google Map over here. So we can come over here and then search for map, and we're going to use this one over here, and then we say Google Map. Okay, so you put in your Google Map and everything over here. You can put in if you have the center and everywhere you want it to do, you can just put in all these details over here, and that is it. You can check the validation, you can check the conditional logic and presentation, all of them. Make sure that you check it. All right, now the next one too we are going to deal with is let's see, this one is event type. Okay, so event type, you can use selection. Okay, we can use selection over here. Even with this one, you can decide to not even use anything. Okay, you can decide to ignore this one because we have category also over there already. But of course, let's just go ahead and then do the select over here. So with the event type, you can go ahead and then either choose selection or checkbox, anyhow you want it. So let's go ahead and choose select over here, and once we are done over here, we click on this one to type in this one, and then type outside, and then we put our choices over here. It says what? Enter each choice on a new line. Okay, enter each choice on a new line. So let's see the event. So we have let's say worship night youth conference. Okay, so I'm gonna come over here and say worship night. We have youth conference. Okay, so maybe prayer time. Okay, you can list as many events as you want to list over here. And then the reason why I was telling you that you can decide to avoid this one is because once you do it over here, you can't change it again unless you still come to this page to add some over here. But if you use the category aspect to set your your event type, that one will be very good. Okay, but let's just go ahead and see how everything plays around. So you can decide to allow multiple selection and all that. Okay, I'm going to just leave it as it is over here, and then present validation, presentation, logic, check all of them. If everything is all right for you, you can just close it. And let's come over here to the registration required field. So sometimes you want users or church members to register for events before they will be permitted. So if the registration is required, we're going to choose the true or false. So search for true or false over here, and then ask if registration is required. Okay, so display a message, whatever message that you want to display, you can display it over here. Check the required field, or the logic, the validation field. Check the presentation field also. Okay, and then check the logic, conditional logic field. Now we're going to use conditional logic on the next one, which we are going to use, which is the registration link over here. Now we'll click on this one, and then over here we say registration field, right? So we're going to use the URL. We're going to use maybe URL over here, and we're going to say registration link. Okay, so this is going to be our registration link, and validation over here if it is required. But let's look at presentation, which everything is fine, and let's go to conditional logic. Now we're going to add conditional logic over here. Right now we want to show this field if the person check one of this one. Okay, so registration required value is what is checked. Okay, if it is checked, then we want to show this field. If it is not checked, this field should be hidden. Okay, that is all what it means. Let's go to the next one, and then which we're going to add speakers or event speakers. So I'm going to add a different field over here. Let me just go ahead and close this particular field and open this one, and then the speakers, I'm going to use text area over here. Okay, I'm going to use text area over here, and I'll say event speakers, and then that is basically all. So we have added all our event fields over here. We can go ahead and click on save changes over here, and we are good to go. So now our events are added, event field are added. Now when we go to event over here, and then we go to all events, we don't have any event over here, but we can click on add new event, and then we're going to have all these meta boxes over here for us to fill. Okay, but I'm going to hide this one first, and then event title will come, and then the description also will come. So let's look at event over here. I'm going to say prayer and worship, right? Prayer and worship. So what prayer and worship, we are going to create prayer and worship event. So I'm going to come over here and add it over here, prayer and worship, and then let me just open this event in another field over here. All right, so this is the full event page over here. Okay, so I open it in another tab over here, and as you can see, we have the event summary or the description over here. So I'm going to just copy this one, come over here, and I'm going to put it over here. So let me just close this one. So this is just just an event summary over here. Now let's go to the meta boxes over here, and we're going to pick event date. Okay, so what is the event date over here? So February 28, 2026. So we're going to go over here and pick the date, which is February 28, 2026. Okay, and then end date also is going to be the same day. Okay, Now event summary also, we are picking this summary over here. We're going to pick this summary over here and put it over here, right? And then event time. Okay, what is the event time? Let's see. The time for the event is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So with this one, we could have just used a normal time over here, but as you can see, we chose time picker. So we're gonna come over here and then just pick a time over here, so which is what, 6 p.m. Okay, so event time is 6 p.m. right? So let's select it, and then the location, event location, I'll say maybe Accra over here. And then over here we can also put the map over here. Now I said it cannot load correctly, but I'm just going to put Accra over here. I know on the front end it will show Accra for me, so I'm not worried. Now the event type, you can choose the event type you want to choose. Now if it is registration is required, then you see the link will show over here. Okay, but if there is no registration required, the link will not show, and that is what perfect. Now event speakers, let's see who are the speakers. So we have 2 speakers over here, Apostle Joseph Mensah and Reverend Daniel Mason. Okay, so we're gonna come over here and put them over here. All right, so now we are done over here, and we can go ahead and click on event over here, set a featured image for it. So we can set this event featured image for it. You can set a featured image. So let me just choose one of these and then set it as a featured image. And then we can also go ahead and add some categories over here. So remember, we have category. We can go ahead and say maybe prayer or worship time or whatever it is. Okay, so maybe worship. So what is the okay, so worship night. So you can say worship night, and we can go ahead and add the category. All right, so now that we are done with the event, we can go ahead and click on publish to publish the event. All right, so our events are published. Now if you click on here to view the event, this is how it's going to be like. You only see any proper thing. So now we have one event done, we have one sermon done. Now we can go ahead and then create our template that will be able to show these events for us. So first of all, we want to create the how do you call it, the loop items first, and then after that we create the template also. So these are the loop items that we are talking about, how it shows over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with sermon over here. So we're going to start with sermon. So this is how the sermon loop looks like. Okay, very simple 2-side thing. So we're going to go ahead and then hover on Elementor over here, click on Theme Builder. I'm going to open a new tab over here. Okay, so let me just close this one and also close this one. Okay, now we're going to go to loop item, click over here, and we click on add new over here. All right, so this is the item that we want to the loop that we want to create. Okay, so as you can see, this is how it looks like over here. Okay, so you can check it out on all different all different devices over here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just click over here, click on this one, and then click on this particular one over here, and then I'll click here. Okay, I'm going to click here and add a container over here, and then inside this particular container, or I can decide to even duplicate this container, and then over here I'll just make it like this, right? So I'm having 2 different things over here. Okay, now if I like, I can even go ahead and check out the settings and all those things over here and see if I can be able to adjust this settings over here. Okay, but I think I'm okay with this one, so everything is quite okay for me. Alright guys, so now that we are over here, I'm going to click on this one, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag in a featured image over here. Okay, so I'm going to drag in a featured image over here, and what I'm going to do is also click over here, and then the query settings over here is going to be post. The previous settings over here is also going to be I'm going to use sermon over here. Okay, so I'm going to use sermon over here, and then yeah, I think that is all. And then also over here, the loop item, I'm going to say maybe sermon loop. Okay, sermon loop, and then I'll come over here and click on apply. Okay, so you see that it's going to what you know, pick all the sermon items into this particular fields that we're going to set over here. So let's look at this one over here, and then I'm going to just go to the sermons over here, and I want to see how the sermons looks like. So as you can see, this is what listen, and then we have this one which says grace over here. So we just have to put in the lesson, and then all these things will just you know, fill in for us. So we're going to come over here, and then over here I'm going to drag in heading widget over here, and then this heading widget I'm going to say lesson over here. Okay, and after that I'm going to come over here and drag in post title also underneath this one. So post title, you see it comes, and then the next one I'll drag in a text editor over here, and this text editor I'll click on the dynamic post over here and scroll down to ACF over here, and then click on this settings icon, click on this one, and what I'm going to do is to just type in click on the sermon you know, summary over here. Okay, so we're gonna have sermon summary displaying over here, and then right after that, what again? Yeah, so we're gonna have this also over here, 1 2 3 items over here. So I'm gonna come over here, come here, and then click on this one, and then I'm going to look for what we call what again. Okay, I'm going to look for icon box. Okay, so I'm going to choose an icon box over here, and this one we're going to remove everything from here, but this we'll choose an ACF. So we're going to come over here, choose an ACF, click over here, and then over here we're going to say speakers and pastors. So let's see, yeah, speaker or pastor. So we come over here, and with this one we're going to select maybe a user. Okay, so let's look at a user that wears suit or something like that. So yeah, this guy over here, we're gonna select this guy. Okay, so we selected this guy, and what we are going to do is we're going to come over here, and we position it this way. Okay, position it this way and this way also, and then we're going to come to content over here and make sure that we, you know, do some few editing over here. So enter, we style it, and then this one we're going to say maybe 14. Okay, so the icon also, we go ahead and choose the theme color over here, and then we choose what we want. So I'm gonna say maybe 25 for the icons also over here. So basically let's see, yeah, so for the text color for the title also, we're going to choose the strongest text over here. So let's do it this one also. We're going to go to style, we go ahead and then change this one. We can change it to inter or playfair, you know, playfair display. So either this one or that one, and I'm going to use 45 for this one. and then I'll choose the strongest text over here. I'll do same for this one also. I'll come here with the text. I'm going to choose this one, and then over here I'll choose enter, and then over here I'm going to choose maybe 17. All right, so with this one also I'm going to come over here, change this one to enter, and then this one I'm going to choose yeah, let me choose 17, and then I'll say I'm gonna use the strongest text also. All right, so let's see how it looks like. So yeah, just like this. So I think it's getting, you know, what we need. Now what I'll do is I'll click over here, and when I hover, I don't want it to change color. I want it to be where it is. So I'm going to duplicate this particular one. I'll duplicate it 2 times so that I'm going to have this ones over here. All right, so now that I have this one, I'm going to just go ahead and then see how this one looks like. So this one is the time, this one is the how do you call it, the category. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and then choose this one, come here, select this one, come over here, change this one to duration, change this one to clock or time. So let me choose clock over here, and then yeah, and then this one also, it's going to be category, right? So I'm going to come over here and show the folder. Okay, so I'm going to choose a folder over here, and this one what I'll do is I don't have an ACF over here, but I'll close this one, go over here, and then I'll go to post terms over here. Okay, post terms over here, come over here and then choose category, right? So category should be able to work for me. Okay, so as of now, as you can see, I can click over here and then center everything the way I want it. So it's gonna be something like this. Now you don't see it as good over here now, but you understand you know it when we are using it in the main page. Let's click on this one also, and in this one, on the tablet mode, we want to change it. We want to change it to show like this. Okay, we want to change it to show like this, not like this, like this, right? So this is quite okay for us. So we want to change it to show like this, because on the tablet mode it should be able to show something like that. Oh, one thing we forgot to do is this particular one over here, the how do you call it, the buttons over here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, let me go back over here, and we need to bring in a container and then put in some buttons over here. So I'm going to drag in a container underneath this one, and then not this one, I'm going to drag in a container underneath this one. Okay, and then inside this container we put in 2 buttons. Okay, so I'm going to just drag in one button over here, and what does the button says? It says watch. Okay, so over here we'll say watch, and this one we're gonna go ahead and you know, connect it to the post URL. Okay, just like this one is also connected to the category URL, this one also connect to the post URL. Now let's go over here and then change this one to this, you know, just set border radius to 50 like this, and then I'm going to come over here to remove all padding, you know, just try to custom padding them like this and this. Okay, now I'm going to just go ahead and duplicate this one also, and this one we call it what? View all sermons, right? So we come over here and then we say view all sermons. All right, so with this one, it's not going to be a post title, but we have to link it to the sermons page. Okay, so do we have category over here? No, we don't have. Okay, so what we will do is we'll just search for sermons, and then the page will link it to the sermons page. All right, so now that we have this done, now we can style this one also. So let's go to style over here, and then we're going to give it a solid border radius like a 2. We'll give it this particular one also, change this one to this one. We're going to remove give a transparent background like this, and then when we go to hover also, we can give it a hover kind of thing, animation or something like that. So I'm going to give it animation over here, so it's going to be something like this, right? Let me give this one also a hover animation. Also this one, I'm going to give it a border radius of 2, so that they will also be on the same level as that one. Then hover animation also, I'm going to give it Bob. All right, so now that we have this one done, we can go ahead and go to this particular one. So over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make sure that they are in the same level. Do same for this one also, make sure that they are in the same level as well. Okay, so it's going to be something like this. So I can decide to just reduce this one to like 35, or let's say 30, be on the same level. This one also just 14. Okay, and I think these ones are okay. All right, so this one we can just reduce the space between it. And let's look at this one also. All right, so this one also we can change everything over here to make it look the same as we want it. Okay, so it looks perfect, it looks great. Let's see, this one will also be like 28. All right, so everything looks great. The only thing is with this one, we can also decide to reduce this size to like 15 or 14 or 13. Okay, so let's make it 14 and make this one also 14, and change this one to inter, and change this one also to inter. And then we can go ahead and reduce this one a little bit. So instead of 30 over here, so we can make it the 15 15. All right, 15 at the top, 15 at the bottom. Over here we can make it 20 20. Okay, so yeah, this one is quite okay. So now everything looks great. We can also remove the padding from here to make it look like this. Okay, so I think everything looks fine. Also, I'm going to remove the padding from this side also. Okay, so I think everything looks fine, everything looks great. So now this is how it looks like. So the only thing is I'm going to give this one, unlink the padding, give it a top of let's say all around of 20. Okay, all around of 20, and I'm going to come over here and reduce this one a little bit. Okay, so it's going to be something like this. When I come over here also, I think I can also remove this one and give an all around of 20 also for this. Okay, when I come over here also, I also do same. Okay, so we can remove this one and then give it an all round of 20. All right, so basically everything is quite okay. We can just go ahead and publish it. Okay, so now we have a loop for our sermon. So if I go to let me go to the front end, so we can go to the front end, and then where we were supposed to place the sermon over here, I click on edit with Elementor, and then I can be able to go ahead and then use that loop item that we created for that particular sermon part. All right, so we're going to scroll down over here, and over here we can bring in our loop grid carousel over here. So we can bring in our loop carousel over here. Okay, and as you can see, this is how it looks like. Now it says post, it says whatever it is. Okay, but let's go to query over here. We want to query the sermons, right? We want to query the sermons, and then over here we want to just search for loop. Okay, so sermon loop over here, and as you can see, this is how it looks like. Okay, this is how it looks like. So slice to display, slice on scroll. Okay, so that is it. Number of slice you can choose over here. So let's say slice to display is 1. Okay, just 1 slide to display. So this is how it looks like over here, and let's see how it looks like over here. This is how, so because this one is what, this one is kind of like bigger, that is how it is showing this way. Okay, so the same thing applies to this one. So if I decide to change the image over here and make it that big, it's going to what, it's going to show just like that. Okay, so as you can see, this is how it looks like. So if we have 2 different sermons, it will definitely show over here as slides. Now let's go back over here. Let's go back over here, and let's see. Yeah, not over here. I'm going to go back to the sermon side over here, sermons, and I want to change the image that I used for this particular one. So I'm going to come over here and change the image over here. I want, yeah, this particular image. So I'm going to just add it over here. All right, so I'm going to come over here and view the image, the whole thing. So as you can see, it looks bigger now over here, but you see this one is not showing the way I want it to show. So I'm going to come over here, and over here I'm going to just remove this particular border all around, and then what I'll do is I will make sure that they're all in the middle. Okay, and then we're going to publish it. So now if I come over here, and so you see now it's showing on the same level as this one. So this is how you can be able to create that kind of loop. So if we go ahead and then let's see, if you go ahead, okay, let's go over here, go ahead, we go to sermons over here, and then we create another sermon. Okay, we can create another sermon. So let's say we want to create another sermon over here, and what are we going to call this one? So sermons over here, we say walking in God's grace. So walking in God's grace. Okay, and I'm going to use this one as the featured image, and also I will just copy some few things that I want to use. So I'm going to show all the things over here. Okay, so this is the sermon details. Okay, I'll copy it, come over here, and then paste it over here. Now scroll down and click on these meta boxes. Sermon summary. I'll copy this one, paste it over here. Speakers or speaker, I'll copy this one, paste it over here. Sermon date, so let's say it was 1st February, and then sermon duration, we want to say 1 hour, and then Bible verse, let's see, Ephesians 2, 8 and 9. So we're going to say Ephesians 2 verse 8 and 9, 8, 9. And then we are going to pick the YouTube thing over here and put it over here. All right, so if you have audio and all those things, you can be able to go ahead and do it. So everything is worked out. Now this one is a category that we are using. So let's see what category does this thing fall under. Spiritual, faith and spiritual growth. So I'm gonna come over here and say faith and spiritual growth. Then I'll go ahead and publish it. All right, so now we have 2 different sermons to show over here. So when I refresh it, I'm supposed to see this one over here, right? So I can be able to click on it to show grace that transforms. And then this one is what? Walking in God's grace. So now let's try to do some few edits. So I'm going to refresh this one so that the changes that we did will come in it, so that we can be able to do some few editing for that particular carousel. All right, so let's scroll down to the carousel, and as you can see, we have this one, and then we also have this particular one. So let's go ahead, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just change this one to 1280. Okay, and once we are done, we come into the template over here, and let's go to the layout over here, and you can give gap between slides if you want, but since it is just one slide, I'm going to just let it go. So the navigation over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use this particular color. Okay, and when you hover on it, I want it to be this accent color. All right, so you can choose border and all those kind of stuff, depends on you. And then let's go to pagination over here. Okay, so pagination also over here, the dots or the spaces between the dots, so that is this one over here. So the spaces, you can give a space, but I'm going to just go ahead and check the size. Okay, so I'm going to give it a 15, and then the color, I'll choose this one for it, and when you hover, it's supposed to change to this one. Okay, so this is quite okay. For the gap, I'm not going to think about it anymore. And then also for the navigation, which is the ones over here and the ones over here, let me close this one, the ones over here, right? I want to remove it. Okay, I don't want it, so I can come over here and say don't show any navigation. Okay, I don't want any navigation to show. All right, so now I'm also going to see if the loop over here, I can increase the size of this image. So I'll make sure that the image becomes bigger. okay, so that it will show all the actual size of the image. So now that we are done, we can just go ahead and publish this one and come over here and refresh the page. All right, so now this is how it looks like. It looks similar to the other one. Okay, so now you can click over here and it will be able to show for you. Let's look at the layout once again, and equal height, everything. Okay. Okay, settings. Okay, so auto scroll is on. You can change this one. So let me change it to, let's say, 1000, and see how, so it goes faster, right? So I'm going to change it to 3000, and then it will be changing as and when. All right, so this is quite okay, and we have our carousel done simply as that. Now the next one is this particular event side also. So we need to create the event loop item, okay, in the just like we created the sermon loop item over here. All right, so I'm going to close this one because we are done with the sermon, and you have to go back to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to close okay, so I've closed that one also, and then let me see. So close this one also. This is the other website. I'm using this one to see which one is the other website. Okay, so this is the website that we are dealing with. So now we need to go back to Elementor, go back to Theme Builder. Okay, so I'm going to open it in a new tab, and I'm sure I won't close it again. So now we have one item over here, which is the sermon loop. Now we need to also create the event loop also. So the event loop is also a loop item that shows all the event loops. Okay, so all the other events, it will show it on a page or any page that you want it to show. So I'm going to just click on the loop item again, and I'm also going to click on add new. Okay, so now with the event, it's also going to be very simple. So I want to use a template which will make it faster, so I'm going to use this particular one. Okay, I'll use this. They said I should connect. I don't want to connect. I don't want to waste time, so I'm just going to create my own loop. So I'll come over here, click over here, click on this one, click on this, and then just drag in a container over here. I'll duplicate this particular one over here. I'll add my image over here. So I'll click over here, and then this is going to be the post featured image. Okay, so basically like this one, right? But I want this one. I'm going to close this one. I'm going to close this one. I want everything to be inside this one so that I can be able to manipulate this container. So I'll click on over here and then drag in a container inside, duplicate this container. Okay, click over here, and then add the featured. See that nothing came because we haven't set done the setting of the loop item yet. So I'm going to click over here to go to the loop item settings. Over here I'll change it to event loop. Okay, and then over here I'll change the preview to event over here, and then if you want to query it, you can query it anyhow you want it, but I'm going to leave it as it is, and then click on apply and preview. Okay, so once it is done, you see the image now populate over there. I'm going to click over here, go to advanced, remove all padding, so it's going to be something like this. All right, so now that I'm done, let's look at how the event over here looks like. So we want to see how it looks like. So this is how it looks like. We have the date over here, we have worship night over here, and then we also have the how do you call it, the event title, the location, okay, and all that. All right, so let's quickly create it the way we see it. So I'm going to come over here, and what I'm going to do is, let me see, this one have this one. Okay, so this is basically not a button, it's just a text field over here. So I'm going to come over here, and what I'll do is I'll add a text field over here, and I'll make sure that it's it goes over here. Okay, all right, so to make this whole thing work, we need to use a different strategy. Okay, so I'm going to just delete this one. Okay, I'm going to delete this one, and then what I want to do is I want to click over here and then set this one as, let's say, 400, or even 400 is too big, so let's say I want to set it like maybe 300 over here. And then inside this one is where I want to use a classic background. Okay, and with a classic background I want to set a dynamic tag for it, and that dynamic tag is what I want to use the featured image over here, and I'm going to position it center, and then I'll come to display, I'll make it cover. Okay, so it's going to be something like this. Right now, also I will say no repeat, and basically we have this one over here. Okay, so now inside this one I'll also bring another container. Okay, so I'm going to bring another container over here, and this container I will make the background white. Okay, make the background white like this, right? And what I'm going to do is I'll put I can put something in it, so I'm going to put a heading over here, and with this heading I'll use an ACF field for it. I'm going to come over here, click over here, and then I'm going to use the date, sermon date, for it. Okay, so the sermon date is supposed to show over there. And then with this particular container, what I'm going to do is I'll give it an oral padding of, let's say, 15. Okay, and I'll give it the width of 32. Right, see that it's now showing over here. And then what I'll do is I'll align it this no, I'll not align this one, I'll align the main container. Okay, this main container that houses everything over here. So I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to go over here, then choose this particular one. Okay, and then I'll come here and align this one so that any items in it will be here, and I'll go over here and also give an all-round padding of 20, and as you can see, this one will be showing over here. Okay, so basically this is how this one looks like. Now I can go ahead and style this one, so I'm going to come over here and choose enter for it. Now it's not showing, but it will show, don't worry. I'll come over here and then also make it like maybe 12. Okay, 12 over here, and I think, yeah, this is quite okay. All right, so now inside this one I'll be putting everything I want to put in over. So I'm done with the top over here, and inside here I'll be putting everything I want to put inside this place. I'll put in all the things that I want to put over here. So you see that I have a button which says worship. I have this one. So I'm going to just go ahead and do so for it. So over here I'll click here, and I'll bring a button first. Okay, drag in a button over here, and then what again, I'll have prayer and worship night. Okay, so which is going to be a title. Okay, so I'll come over. So with a button, let me just do it well. So the button is going to be an archive one, so it's going to give me the archive URL, and this one is supposed to display what it's supposed to display. Let me see, it's supposed to display the event type, or whatever, the event category. Okay, so let's see if I can use the post terms over here, and I'll go over here. So I'll click over here and then choose category for it. Okay, and this is how it shows, right? It shows the worship night, all right, but it shows it in a different form because this is not supposed to show that way. So it doesn't work on a button. So what I'll do is I'll just remove this one, and then I'll add just a normal text field or heading field over here, and then I'll come over here and then use the post terms over here, come over here, set category for it, and as you can see, it shows the worship night. So what I'll do is so what I'll do is I can easily just edit this one, make it like a button, make it like show like a button, and it's very easy. I will just come over here, put a container inside this one, drag this one inside this one, so that it's going to be something like this, and then inside this container I will just use this particular row horizontal so that the button will not drag up to here, but it's going to be just here. And then over here I'll come over here and then change this one to maybe 14. Okay, something like this. Change this one to enter. Okay, and then I will go to advanced, or let me just style this one. This one is going to be the strongest text. I'll go to advanced. I'll just give a padding of, let's say, 15, something like this, and then go to border, give a border radius of 50, so it's going to be something like this. Go to background, give a background color for it, so I'm going to have something like this to show. Okay, so it's going to be something like this, and yeah, that's basically it. So as you can see, this one works perfectly fine. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll come over here and then unlink the padding, and we are good to go. So now we have this one done. The only thing is I can come over here and reduce this one to, let's say, 10. Okay, and also go over here and reduce this one to, let's say, 12. Okay, quite okay. So yeah, everything works fine. I can come over here also, and then the next one is to bring in the title and then the location, right? So I'm going to go ahead and come over here, click on this one, bring in the post title. So I'm going to drag in the post title. I want it to be inside, not this one, yeah, this one. Okay, so this is the post title. Not even this one. I want it to be this one. No, into this container, right? So let me just copy this one and right click over here and paste. Okay, so that I will just delete this one. All right, so this is how it is. So post title over here, and you can link it. This same thing also, you can link it. Okay, so if you like, you can link it to the archive URL. Okay, so it can be clickable. The same thing, you can make this one clickable by linking it to the post URL, so it can be clickable. Okay, so basically that is it. So now that I have the post title, I can also edit it. So I'm going to just use the enter. I'm going to use maybe 20, okay, or 22, depending on how you want it, and then come over here and use the strongest text over here. All right, so now that I'm done with this one, I can go over here and just drag in heading widget also over here, and this time around I'm going to just search for ACF over here. Click on this one, come over here, and then we have event location, this one. All right, so we have event location over here. Okay, so the same thing also over here. I'm going to just click on this one. I want to see if I use, oh, this one I use sermon date. Oh, okay, so event start date. Okay, this is what I want to use, event start date. Okay, so I don't know why this one refused to show, but it's supposed to show, right? Yeah, it's now showing over here. Okay, so I'm going to just change this one to this. Okay, and this one to 12. Okay, and then let's see this one also. I'm going to come over here, change this one to enter, change this one to 14. Okay, and then the next one is this event over here. That is the event summary, and then the button. So we're gonna come over here and also bring a text widget over here. So we can bring a text widget underneath this one, and then we will use dynamic tags over here. Go to ACF, click on this, choose event summary. Okay, choose event summary, and then the next one is going to be the event how do you call it, event button over here. So the button over here, we're going to come over here, also drag in a button underneath this one, and then what do we say learn more. Okay, so we're going to come over here and say learn more, and then over here we use the post URL. Okay, so this is basically it, and then we use also an arrow. We're going to use an arrow for it, or an angle. Okay, let's use an angle. Okay, so this one is quite okay, and we want to place it over here, and you can give it a spacing if you want. Let's style it. Go over here, style it the way you want, give it a border radius of 50, and you can style it anyhow you want. Over, want to give it a bob. Okay, so now as you can see, everything is working perfectly the way we want it. The only thing we haven't installed is this particular one. So let's change this one to strongest text over here. Come over here, it's also good. Okay, so this one also, I'm gonna come over here, change this one to enter, and then change this one to 16 or whatever it is. So I'm going to change it to 14, and I think it's quite okay. All what I need to do is to click over here and come over here, and then just make sure that this one I reduce the gaps in it. I come over here and change this one to strongest text also. So now as you can see, everything is looking all right. So what I want to do is I want to click over here to the main container that houses almost everything, and then come over here and then remove all the padding from it. Okay, and with this one we can give it a padding if you want. So we can give it a padding of, let's say 20. Okay, and the main container itself, this particular one, we can also remove, or just remove all kind of padding from it. So this is how it's going to be. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, give it a border, and we say we want a border radius, and then we're going to give it a border radius of 2. Give it this one, give it the strongest text, and as you can see, this is how it looks like. Okay, it looks perfect, it looks the way we want it. So all what we need to do, so let's see how it looks like. Okay, it looks perfect, it looks the way we want it. So this time around, this one over here, I'll come over here and change this one to, let's say, 12. Yeah, 12 is quite okay. And I'll come over here and then let me go over here, come over here, and then come here and give it kind of like a distance or a height. Okay, line height over here. So this is quite okay. This is how it's going to look like. Okay, so now let's look at how it will look like on a tablet. It's fine. And then on the mobile also, this is how it's going to look like. So this time around, this one also, we will change the width. Okay, we want to change the width to okay, so 45 is quite okay. Aside that, everything looks fine, everything looks perfect. Let's change this one to maybe 20. So everything looks perfect over here, and we are done with this one. We can go ahead and also publish it. Okay, so once we publish it, we can go to our page over here and then click on edit with Elementor, and then we're going to bring the loop inside here, and then we are done with our home page. The only thing that will be left for us to do is to make sure that we do the mobile responsiveness. All right, so let's scroll down to the part that we want to work on. So this is the part that we want to work on. So we're going to click over here, and then we search for loop. And then this time around, we are not bringing the loop carousel, we are bringing the loop grid. So we're going to put loop over here, the grid over here. And over here, we will say event. So this is the event loop. And we want to show 3. And then we also want to show 6. No, we want to show just 3. Okay. Now nothing is showing over here because the query is querying post. Okay, so we need to query event. Okay, once we query event, you see that the event will come over here, and that is what, and that is it. So we can just go ahead and publish it. All right, so now we have one event showing over here. We can decide to make it 2. Okay, 2 different events, just like we have on this event page. So I'm going to come over here and go to the layout over here, and instead of 3 columns, I'll make it 2 columns, and over here also 2 per page over here. Okay, so the columns is supposed to be 2, the items is supposed to be 2. We want equal height, and yeah, basically that is how it will look like. So let's publish it over here. Let's take a look at how it's going to look like on the front end. So we scroll down over here, and we have our event page showing over here. Okay, so this is the event over here. It seems like it's still showing 3 events instead of 2. So I want to see why it is doing that. So I'm still going to edit with Elementor to see why the loop is still showing if the settings are correct, then we don't need to worry about once we create a new event, it will pick it up. Okay, so let's go over here and see. So you see it's still showing 3 instead of 2. Okay, so now we can publish it. Okay, now we can go ahead and view it. Okay, so now it is showing 2 over here. So we can even go ahead and then adjust this place to make it the 15 that we wanted. Okay, instead of 12, let's make it 15. And also adjust you know, the yeah, I think everything is fine. Yeah, everything is fine. So if I refresh it, I'm supposed to get, yeah. So the only thing we have to do now is to make sure that we increase this one a little bit to, let's say, 14, and then let me increase this one to 18. Once we have this one to 14, make sure that this one is in the middle. Okay, is in the middle. It or center. We center everything, and then we publish it. And when we come over here, and yeah, so you see it looks fine over here. Okay, so now we are done with our event. You can, you know, once you create a new event, everything will be all right for you. Okay, see that other event will come over here, and you are good to go. You are good to go. So we are done with the home page over here, and now all what is left for us to do is to work on the about page, the sermons, the community, you know, events, ministries, and other stuff. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the you know, the sermons archive page, the events page, and the ministry, and then the contact and all those things. You guys can be able to do it yourself. That will be your homework. Okay, if you have any questions, you can drop the questions in the description, and then I'll be able to, you know, answer whatever it is. With the about, it's just like you creating the how do you call it, the home page. The same thing applies to the ministries and all the other ministry single ministry pages. Okay, so I'm going to create the event and then the sermons archive page in our next tutorial. So thank you for watching. See you in the next tutorial. My name is Kobe. Bye bye.